How do you tell a story? In the early 2000s, we had shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Justice League, Time Squad, codename Kids Next Door, with, arguably, the original Stewie Griffin. Yeah, that's right, I'm calling you out, Seth MacFarlane. And we also had shows like Powerpuff Girls and many more. All of them had a 25-minute long runtime with a story that was usually resolved by the end of the episode. And while most of the shows focused on fun action, visual gags, witty jokes for kids,
He made us in his laboratory by accident.
Well, what can I say?
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident, too.
and jokes for adults, there was only one show that focused on mood, environment, and action to tell its story with very little dialogue. That show is Samurai Jack. To refresh your memory, the show is about a samurai by the name of Jack, and that's our show. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Our hero, Jack, is thrown into the future by an evil entity known as Aku. Thus, our titular character begins his quest to find his way back home in hopes of destroying Aku once and for all while helping those in need and fighting giant bug robots, alien robots, mafia robots, alligator look, you get it, alright? They could not show blood on a children's network. But hey, we got tons of explosions out of it, and I do mean tons. Yes! More explosions, yes! okay, that's enough. That's enough already. I think the audience got it. You can stop now. Are you done? Okay. In the show's 4-year run on television, Samurai Jack had a lot of great episodes like Jack and the Spartans, The Birth of Evil, Seasons of Death, Samurai vs. Ninja, and Jack and the Three Blind Archers, just to name a few. So, what made this show so special? While majority of the cartoons focused on plot and jokes, creator Genndy Tartakovsky had a different idea.
I always kind of complained about action shows. Just because I never get enough action, there's too much plot in most shows to have the time for the action.
The board artists really, they're like the writers of the show. There really are no scripts and there's no real writers. It's the board artists themselves are really figuring out what really happens.
The show is a lot about feel, gesture, trying to get things across with just visual components.
Samurai Jack was about the mood and the magic of it. So that's something you don't really see in television animation.
We really let the visuals kind of breathe and speak for themselves.
And it is all true. Watching Samurai Jack, you can see how the environment is able to paint a picture of the past. Expository dialogue is replaced with strong visuals that paint a clear picture. And that really is the genius of Samurai Jack. It shows you what you want to see instead of just telling you flat out. Later in the same episode, we see how Jack learns to rely on his hearing. This is a great sequence that puts the audience in Jack's shoes. Piece by piece, he begins to learn to identify various sounds that later form a cohesive whole.
I am ready.
And I would be crucified if I didn't mention the episode of Samurai vs. Ninja when Jack faces a shinobi who hides in the shadows. I mean, maybe crucified is kind of an exaggerated thing to worry about here on a YouTube show about cartoons, but why take the risk? So back in said episode, Jack covers himself in white robes so he is able to hide in the light. Though not very realistic, stylistically this allowed the creators to create a visually stunning episode that transcended being a simple cartoon and thus becoming art. With such delicate care to detail, Jack doesn't even need to say much, and in fact, he barely speaks.
It's a fairly easy job because Jack doesn't speak a whole lot.
Thank you.
It's usually some guest person as the wizard or villain has 2.5 pages of exposition.
Listen to me, warrior. Over the hill and through the woods, there is a great jewel.
Like, I see. I will find it. And then I'm done.
As a character, Jack doesn't have cheesy one-liners or witty comebacks, but we still get to learn much about Jack as the series progresses. Jack is methodical, patient, respectful, determined, and above all else, compassionate, willing to put the safety and the needs of others first, even if it prevents his own personal goals.
The odds of them hitting us at this speed are 325 to 1.
I cannot take that chance.
But you'll never make it back in time. Jack! Jack!
Yet the show still has humorous action and wacky characters, like Scotsman.
Remember me?
Classic Scotsman. Furthermore, Jack is not invulnerable, constantly getting challenged both physically and mentally. Like all great heroes, Jack faces enemies that rival his abilities and must learn to adapt and overcome his challenges. This was a show that was ahead of its time, and a show that you could say paved the way for other cartoons in how stories could be told on a kid's network. Looking back at it really makes you appreciate the artistry of those hardworking men and women who poured out their talents on screen and behind the scenes. Which is why I can't wait to see what creators have in store for us when Season 5 arrives on March 11th. Hey, did anyone else notice that Samurai Jack looks a lot like Professor Utonium? Coincidence? I think not! Oh boy, folks, didn't we have fun, and it was quite informative, and I hope you learned a little something. And if you like learning things and enjoying these videos, then be sure to subscribe so you can come back and see some more enjoyable videos in the future. Now I see you sitting there staring at that subscribe button thinking, I don't know, should I not? I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Well, why don't I sway you to the subscribe side while serenading you with the Samurai Jack theme?
Back to the path, gotta go back, Samurai Jack.
Oh, come on now!
Back to the path, gotta go back, Samurai Jack.